Hey there, my fellow comic book friends. Just a quick rundown so you know who you're talking to. I pretty much grew up on comic books. I can't remember a time when I wasn't reading them or playing with toys related to superheroes. And when I was younger, I was mostly all about Marvel, especially because of things like Man-Thing, The Living Mummy, Tales of the Zombie, Werewolf by Night, Morbius, you know what I mean, Blade, all of that kind of stuff was what I liked. My brother was reading Captain America and The Amazing Spider-Man, and so I eventually got his, and I really started to like them. And then later on, I really got into the Hulk, and the Hulk was actually the first comic book I ever actually got a subscription to. I ended up getting a subscription to the Hulk, the Man-Thing, and I remember opening up my mailbox and finding that tear-stained issue of the Man-Thing. And it had Stan Lee in the corner with a tear coming out of his eye because it was going to be the last Man-Thing issue. So anyway, that's a quick little rundown there. Well, I got older, and when I got older, I never let go of Marvel, but I started to appreciate DC more. I started to look at DC as more of a mature adult. It didn't need all the drama, all the things that Stan Lee himself was famous for, which is humanizing the characters. You know, Peter Parker being late for school, stepping in dog poop, that kind of stuff. That stuff is what made comic books what they are. But I, as an adult, prefer my superheroes not to step in dog poo. The reason why I'm into these guys is, I love the fact that Superman is perfect. He's the Boy Scout. You know, I personally love that. It gives me the chills. And let me tell you something. And we're going to shift gears right into the SNYDER Cut. Okay, I'm one of those people that has been itching for the SNYDER Cut since the second that 2017 Justice League crapple ended. I knew instantaneously it was not a Snyder film. I knew immediately. That opening scene was terrible. You can't even make me stick my foot in my mouth by coming up with the footage saying that it was actually Zack who filmed it. That movie did not feel like Zack Snyder. It didn't. It felt like, I'll be honest with you, it felt like talking with someone who had been violated. And that's what they had to share. And that's what that movie was a violation. It was a violation on the part of Joss Whedon, heartless bastard, and a violation on the part of Warner Brothers, and a violation from DC for not being more active and involved. And maybe even from the actors and everyone else involved as well. Either way, they didn't want to damage their franchise contracts and so forth, and I respect all of that. I'm just expressing my opinion. The SNYDER Cut. 4 hours of heaven, man. Okay, the movie couldn't have been longer. And what I mean by that is I wanted it to be longer. The movie couldn't have been shorter. And what I mean by that is I wanted it to be longer. Anything you say or anything you bring up or anything you want to talk about, I'm telling you that I loved it so much the movie went by like that, and it could have been longer. I could have watched an 8-hour movie. I almost dropped the F-bomb. I'm trying not to curse. Period. Not just for this video, but I'm just trying not to curse. I'm dating this beautiful woman right now. Her name is Bliss. And both of us are trying not to. She dated a chef before me, a famous chef. And he cursed like a sieve. He constantly. He's always cursing. Always. Constant. Can't find the remote. So both of us are trying not to use any profanity anymore because she never cursed before. Anyway, SNYDER Cut. Let's get down to business. Okay. We've been waiting for this for a really long time. So some of us were a little bit nervous and wondering if this was just going to be the same old directors or Ultimate Cut, which is a movie that's jumbled around with a couple little fresh treats thrown in. This is not that. This is basically, you can count on one hand how many things you will see and experience that are in the 2017 Justice League piece of crap. Okay, you'll be able to count on one hand, all right, how many times you're reminded of that other piece of crap. This is 100% Snyder, and that's why it's called the Snyder Cut. You know, I mean, the guy took no money for this project. Okay, he didn't want to take any money for it. And by not taking any money, that means nobody could tell him what to do. So he sat cooped up in his studio, knowing that this was a labor of love, that it was something he wanted to finish, but when it originally was being created and being worked on, we're talking about a guy that was filming stuff, knowing exactly where it would go, right? He filmed all of this with a vision in mind. And his daughter died, okay? She killed herself. She committed suicide. And he had to just walk away. Him and his wife, who was producing, they just walked away and said, we can't even think about if we're coming, but just, we got to go. And they did. And in my humble opinion, and a lot of fans and so forth, Warner Brothers and DC should have waited. The actors should have said, we want to wait for Zach to come back. It's his vision. Nobody did that. And so they hired a Marvel studio director, Joss Whedon, famous for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and his Avengers movies. You know, he kind of dropped the bomb on his Avengers of Ultron one, even though I like the movie, but it didn't fit really. It's like the odd film out of the franchise, you know. So they got that guy thinking that he could bring some whatever Warner Brothers was thinking. I don't know. All of this, I believe, is the influence of AT&T purchasing them. So now that AT&T owns Warner Brothers, DC, Criterion, all that stuff, Studio Ghibli's distribution rights in the United States of America, which is Hayao Miyazaki stuff, and Godzilla stuff, and all that. Now that they own all of that, they're kind of like flexing their muscle a little bit, and I think they were telling, just like the Swamp Thing being canceled and telling everybody that it was canceled before even airing the first episode. I mean, come on. I mean, talk about killing something in its tracks. You know what I mean? Hey, here comes the show, but it's been canceled. Okay. The worst thing in the world is to be in the middle of a show and hear information that it's been canceled. You know what I mean? It just totally destroys your feelings of what's next, you know? Snyder Cut. We were gypped. We were completely gypped. It's like somebody breaking into your car and stealing your stereo and the speakers, the crossover, and the amp, and the sub box with the sub still in it. That's what it feels like now that I think about. So I think I'm going to actually make a follow-up video to this where I'm going to take my Justice League and I'm going to dig a hole in the backyard and I'm going to throw chicken food all over it, let the chickens all go on it because then they'll shit all over it and everything. And then maybe I'll put some, you know what, I'm not going to burn it. I was thinking about burning it. I'm going to let the chickens shit all over it, and then I'm going to bury it. I'm going to bury it. I'm just going to bury it, you know, because it's still Zach's dream. It's still his vision. Some other moron came in and tried to finish it, but it's still Zach's. It will always be Zach's mutated, you know what I mean, version. So as far as the Snyder Cut goes, I love saying that. It's awesome. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. It's goosebump city. It's emotional. His use of music that he had to pay the rights to use is extremely powerful, which Zach is just as good as Michael Mann when it comes to using music and putting it against visuals. He's absolutely incredible. And today, to this day, and for every day, 300, I'm still proud to say that 300 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, when I walked out of the theater, I went right back in and watched it again. That was a very dishonest thing for me to do, but I did. I walked right back in and watched it again. In my mind, I saw it so quickly after seeing it that it was okay to see it again and not pay again. But I ended up seeing that movie more than any other movie I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of movies, and Halloween is my all-time favorite movie because I saw that in the theater. My babysitter took me when I was only 5 years old, so that says something. But the Snyder Cut is... Okay, here's another example. If I can't express how much I love this movie, how about I say it this way? I haven't stopped watching it. I haven't been able to watch anything else. I haven't been able to focus. I wasn't able to sit and relax and enjoy the Falcon and the Snowman. Oops, I mean the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And the reason is because I got the Snyder Cut on my mind. I've got how powerful and useful and meticulous it all was, and how there's a reason we didn't see a cheesy Superman in the beginning. There's a reason we're yearning to see the Man of Steel throughout the Justice League. We are not seeing him. We're not feeling his presence. We are being around people who are bringing him up, and we are feeling their loss, but we are really not getting to feel anything yet. And the beauty of the movie is that it builds us up. Something Josh had no clue of. Absolutely clueless, or it was just a paycheck for him. Because the build-up creates such an emotional attachment to when Superman finally does come into the picture. When his wife-to-be and his mother interact with him and his memories. It's powerful stuff, man. And Batman, seeing Ben portray this older, more kind of burnt out, kind of what kind of guy, you know? I mean, the scenes when Superman's kicking everybody's ass, holy crap! One of the greatest scenes in superhero movie history! Superman beating the crap, is that a curse word? Crap out of everybody! Boom, bam, shmam, bam! I mean, no one had a chance. You know what I mean? He just crushed everybody. And to just drive it in, just like he did in Batman vs. Superman, where a lot of people hated the Martha Kent scene. I saw that in the theater a week before the movie came out in a special premiere, and that scene affected me. It was emotional. I got teary-eyed. It got me. So I don't care what people say about that scene, that it's cheesy or whatever. If you think it's cheesy, you're a cold, heartless bastard, so you can tune out. The Snyder Cut is so emotional in the Superman scenes and the things that relate to the Superman scenes. That scene when he's beating the crap out of everybody and he knocks Batman into the car, and Batman's energy absorber gauntlets that Alfred just came up, and Alfred is portrayed so perfectly in this. We get to see Alfred interact with characters and the way he reacts to Superman when he sees Superman. But so Superman's just like blasting him with his heat vision rays, and he just melts through those Hummers, and he gets to Batman, and Batman's using his energy absorbing gauntlets, so it's pulling in the beams. It's absorbing that energy, but it still hurts, man. It's still kicking Batman's booty. And Batman's so submissive, and he's on the ground with his back up against that Hummer car, and he's like, Clark, and he knows. He knows there's no games anymore. That there's no hidden I won't hurt you inside this guy. This is the alien from another planet with the powers of Superman that could kill you right now. And he's about to. He's about to freaking melt you. He's going to just destroy you. And then Lois, the power of love. Even Wonder Woman saw it, you know? So I absolutely love the Snyder Cut. So let's jump into the length. No, it's not a problem. Let's jump into the development of each character. Yes, it's amazing. Let's jump into the visuals. Oh my God, they're so Zack Snyder. Let's talk about the Watchman comparison. Holy cannolis, yes, it's a lot like the Watchmen. It's a beautiful tribute to superheroes with amazing powers, as was the Watchmen in the humanization of those superheroes. So the Watchmen is a darker Marvel, and the Justice League is a DC film done by Zack Snyder with its visuals and music video vibe, just kicking booty Trudy all over the screen, you know? Now let's talk about the aspect ratio and how a lot of people had a problem with the IMAX vision. This is exactly how Zack wanted us to see it. More of a square than an elongated and stretched out. Okay? We're getting spoiled with our widescreen because we got brainwashed by the DVD companies releasing movies saying widescreen is better than full screen, which is a million times better than full screen. But that was deliberate. They deliberately only gave us those two choices, full screen and widescreen. So we would go with widescreen, which made us feel like we filled up our TV and everything was great. But the reality is it's actually stretching out your people a little bit. It's making you a little shorter and wider. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny little bit. That thing about the camera adding 10 pounds to you, well, that could apply to this because maybe it is adding 10 pounds to you because it's making you shorter and wider. All right? So, I'm getting excited, man. I really, really like talking about the SNYDER Cut. So, the SNYDER Cut was filmed in IMAX specific. The beauty is, if you can sit through a 4-hour movie filmed in that aspect ratio, you're going to be able to watch a lot of other stuff that's on HBO now in the Criterion section. Turner Classic Movie section has all those Criterion movies. And I mean, that's all the Lone Wolf and Cub, you know what I mean? Hanzo the Razor, Godzilla movies, all the Fellini movies. I mean, it's all there. You know what I mean? All the Dirty Harrys, Clint Eastwood movies, it's all there. It's all there. Miyazaki movies, it's all Spirited Away, you know what I mean? Kiki's Delivery Service, Totoro, it's all there now. All in one place to stream HBO Max. That's where Godzilla vs. King Kong's going to be. You know, that's where Kong Skull Island, Godzilla is right now. You know what I mean? It's the best streaming service to have. And they let Zach do what he wanted. And that's what I love about it. And that's why I have so much respect right now for HBO Max. It's because they're trying really hard to adapt to the new era. And they're putting some great content on there, and they gave Zack Snyder free control to do whatever he wanted to do. He was even able to keep the aspect ratio he wanted. They didn't squish it and stretch it, and we got to see it. So, yes, I think it's a beautiful thing. And you realize once you can let go of those black bars on the sides, you realize that it really does look better. It looks absolutely amazing, actually. So there's that. And then let's talk about, last but not least, the epilogue. Some people are having a problem with the epilogue, and they feel like it should have just ended with that view of them all standing among one another, you know, in a row or whatever. It could have just ended with that. Maybe had an after-credit scene, you know, of showing each of them getting back to their lives. But the dream, the nightmare that Bruce has is what a lot of people are having a problem with, seeing all of them in that weird world. You know, what's interesting about that dream is that I personally like it, and I think that was kind of Zach's little gift to those of us that are wondering if there ever was the plan to have after credit footage in every single movie, and they just didn't want to do the same thing Marvel was, so they only did it every now and then. But anyway, I feel like you could take that footage, the dream sequence, and chop it up and add it to the end of all the DC movies. You could add it to the end of Birds of Prey. You could add one to the end of Suicide Squad, you know, the one specifically with the Joker in it. I thought it was awesome to see all of those characters in that environment. If I had any complaints whatsoever with the movie, it would be my complaint for the SNYDER Cut. What's my complaint about the SNYDER? Oh, my biggest complaint about the SNYDER Cut. I guess that's it, man. All right. Thanks for watching. The SNYDER Cut is awesome. I'm a fan. And I haven't been able to watch anything else. I'm getting ready to go watch it again. You know what I mean? I hear somebody's going to try and watch it. They'll tell me that I'm going to start watching it, or I watch the first half. And that's cool. That's how I recommend people to watch. The first half, watch 2 hours, and then watch 2 hours. You know what I mean? Don't burn yourself out. Personally, it went about like that for me. It just went. I stayed up till 2 a.m. to watch it. I'm in Texas, so I had to wait till 2 a.m. in the morning here. And I wasn't even tired. You know, I had snacks everywhere, and, you know, it's awesome. Take care, my friends. It's almost a 20-minute video. Wow.